Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to another day of our Steam Summer Sale. It is the second day, it is July 12th, and we're going to look at what games I think you guys probably want to pick up today in the daily specials. But before I jump into that, I keep forgetting, I really wanted to make a video highlighting this, so I'm going to do it now. Dota 2 is now officially released. It is out of beta, it is freely available for everyone. And when I mean free, or when I say free, I mean free. There is no fee to play this game. You no longer need any invites or any sort of applications to the beta. You don't have to pay for early access anymore. Dota 2 is absolutely totally free to download for everyone, and it is fantastic. Now, I don't know if, just in case you don't know what Dota 2 is. Dota is a multiplayer online battle arena. That's the term that is now present for this type of game, these MOBA games. League of Legends is an example of another game similar to this, but League of Legends was actually based on the original Dota. So now Dota 2 is out, and so if you've played any of those games, the formula will be very familiar to you. 5 versus 5 players on a map, lots of heroes to choose from. Now, the big thing is that Dota 2 is even more free to play than League of Legends in that every single hero in the game is unlocked from the start. You do not have to grind to unlock heroes. You do not have to pay money to unlock heroes. They are just all there. They're going to be making money. This is a game by Valve. They're going to make money using the sort of Team Fortress 2 formula where they sell you hats. Well, actually, any person can actually submit their own content for like special costumes for the various champions, and then they can you can pay to do that and customize it if you like the game. It's really cool, nice mechanic. I hope it's going to do well for them. But it is it's officially launching, and that is very exciting. Great game. And if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. There's good tutorials for the game in there now, but if need be, there is a link I'm going to put down below or as an annotation to this video to my Dota 2 for Complete Beginners guide. That will hopefully guide you through your first few experiences. It is a multiplayer game, and people can get cranky, but you can also play versus bots, and when you start playing, you'll be in the very sort of newbie leagues, and so, hopefully you won't have too much of a hard time. Anyway, on to the actual stuff that's discounted today. So the highlighted deal today is Chivalry at 75% off. Chivalry is a first-person, it's kind of like a Call of Duty, but with swords instead, right? You are playing knights. And archers and spearmen and that sort of thing in a first-person shooter, team-based environment kind of gameplay. There's another one very similar to it called War of the Roses, and they're both pretty similar to one another. I'm not sure which one is more popular. I think Chivalry may have gotten a slightly bigger audience. So there, there's that. If that matters to you, you might want to check out both. I don't know. 75% off, and in US dollars, it's $6. That is pretty damn affordable if you like that sort of thing. I'm not huge on those kinds of games personally, which is why I don't play them, but it doesn't mean it's bad. Next up, we've got Surgeon Simulator at 66% off. I will have a link to my Let's Drunk of Surgeon Simulator. It is a fun, silly game where you use completely unpractical physics to try to perform heart surgery and brain surgery on patients. It's not a very big game, it's not a very long game, it's a kind of a silly little toy, but it can be a good time, especially when you're showing it to other people and forcing them to play the game, especially if they've been drinking. Kind of fun. Anyway, look at the video, decide for yourself. I mean, it's not very expensive, right? This is like a Starbucks coffee to buy this kind of game, but, whether that's worthwhile or not is going to depend entirely on you. Okay, Anno 2070. So if you are someone who watches my channel, and you must be, I hope, Anno 2070 is probably a game for you. It's 50% off, which isn't as deep of a discount as everything else, and it's still going to be about $15 US. But what it is a town building game, like that sort of simulator. You're plopping down buildings, you're doing some trade, you're laying things out. There's some sort of there's a little bit of missions and diplomacy and things built in there, but it's mostly sort of like a city builder, economic trading simulation kind of game. It is, of course, very heavily based on the previous Anno game, and if you're in North America, you will know the earlier game as Dawn of Discovery. In fact, Dawn of Discovery. And all the European viewers are like, what are you talking about? Dawn of Discovery. Well, this is it. You know it as Anno 1440? 1404? So I don't even know. right? Because I have the North American version where it's called Dawn of Discovery. Exactly the same game. So 2070 is set somewhat in the future, and so there's all kinds of environmental issues. And I dare to say, while I quite like the sort of 1400 era, that Renaissance era of trade, thematically, I think that Anno 2070 is a better game. I think the mechanics they've added are pretty good. They've got a sort of meta game as well, which is pretty nice, and I find it very enjoyable. Now, there is DLC to download for this. The big one is the Deep Ocean. This is the proper expansion for the game, and this one, if you're going to buy the game, is definitely worth picking up. Now, luckily, you can get the complete edition here, which for $10 more should include Deep Ocean and everything else. Now, one thing you got to take notice, though, there's also a DLC complete pack. This does not include Deep Ocean. So all these other little things are not terribly critical to the game. You can live without all the other DLC. Deep Ocean is pretty nice, though. But if, at this point, it's pretty cheap. If you're going to buy the game at all, just go for the complete edition, and you'll be much happier for it, I'm certain. In fact, this is going to be a good opportunity for me to pick up some of that DLC at this point. Okay, the order keeps changing on me every time. Just Cause 2. Okay. So this is not a game that fits into the demographic of my channel. Doesn't fit in with the sort of thing that I typically play. And yet, I'm going to say if there is one game today that is a must-buy, it's probably Just Cause 2. The only reason that you might not buy it is because at this point, it's come on sale so many times, everyone must own Just Cause 2, right? It is the craziest, nuttiest shooter action game ever. It's an open world kind of sandboxy thing. It's kind of like the Grand Theft Auto kind of thing, except on a sort of island nation, maybe Cuba-ish kind of place. And, you're talking about a game where when a jet fighter passes overhead, you can hit it with a grappling hook and latch on. It is, there's no way to describe how insanely nutty over the top this game is. This is the sort of game that Michael Bay plays and says, I don't know, guys, I think you guys should reel it in a little bit. It is just absolute nutty, fun, great, great, great stuff. I really like Just Cause 2. Walking Dead is a mostly story-driven game based on the graphic novels / TV show that is very popular. This game has been acknowledged to be really, really quite good in terms of story, and very rare that you would find something based on something like graphic novel / TV show or a movie or something like that that translates well to a computer game. But The Walking Dead has been extremely well received. The gameplay aspect of it is relatively light. It almost plays a little bit more like not exactly like a point-and-click adventure game, because there are some action sequences, some quick-time events, some running around, a little bit of shooting zombies, but the main appeal to it is the fantastically strong storyline. So if that's the sort of thing that appeals to you, it's not going to be a bad purchase if you like games with rich story. Fez is an interesting indie game that was out for the Xbox Live Arcade and was featured extensively in, a little bit of online drama here or there. It's a platformer kind of puzzle game. It is very, very kind of cutesy and very sort of smart puzzle game. If you like, what's another example of something that might fit in? Something like Braid, is another indie puzzly kind of platformy game that you can sort of compare it to, but Braid is far more puzzle driven, I think, than Fez. Fez has got a really cool system, a cool mechanic. It's a 2D game, it's 2D world, but this guy, I think it's actually his Fez that gives him the power. He has the ability to sort of rotate the 2D world, so it's a 2D, 3D hybrid that, I don't know, it's a very cool concept. Call of Duty Black Ops, if you don't know what it is, then get on the internet. I hear it's kind of fun. The internet, anyway. I don't play any COD. So, Sniper Ghost Warrior, very cheap if you're really into sniper games, but it's not considered to be a very strong one. It's okay, but not super good. I meant to only highlight the ones that were worth buying this time instead of talking about everything else. FTL, this is the other one. If you already own Just Cause 2, and of course if you're more of a fan of the sort of games that I tend to do on my channel, FTL is definitely the thing to do. I do have some games of this, so I'll put an annotation or a link down below showing you my videos for FTL. It is a semi-roguelike-ish, maybe kind of spaceship simulator game. And if that doesn't whet your appetite, I don't know what it will. It is very, very fun to play, and at $2.50 US anyway, an excellent purchase. Definitely recommend it. These are the flash sales. We don't really need to talk about those at all. And yeah, that's it. So FTL and Just Cause are probably the ones I say, no, these are the ones you definitely pick up. Everything else is well, it's all fine if you like that sort of game or something like that. But Just Cause, FTL, 100% guarantee. And get Dota 2. Seriously, what's wrong with you? Download it now. Bye-bye.